Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokers Open podcast. I am Dr. Ben Spears, the ambassador of flow, as Matt likes to call me.
Sometimes the ambassador go, sometimes the ambassador flow, sometimes the ambassador no.
Yeah, often the ambassador of no. Right? You need to know when to say no, right?
That's
so
right.
we have an amazing guest with us, Maggie Butler with Local Union Consulting.
Yep.
When it's audio, everybody doesn't always know, right? They can't see right? What's behind the curtain. But we need to start before we introduce her with asking what everyone in the world is wondering.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic, Ben, and I love it that you always say everyone in the world is always wondering. I just deep down inside, I just don't think that's what's happening.
Yeah. I have to disagree.
Okay,
Right.
I love it.
Right.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yeah, I met Maggie, and at first she's like, "Are you Dr. Ben?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "How's Matt doing?"
And where's the coffee?
Yeah. So guys, we have with us Maggie Butler, Local Union Consulting. So much experience as far as helping businesses grow, expanding businesses in the local community, which is absolutely, one of our favorite things in the world. Maggie, how you doing today?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing fantastic. Very honored to be here. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited about it. So,
Absolutely.
So let's talk, just a little bit about, we always try and get like the backstory of how, of where things go.
How did it start?
Yeah, how it started. So I know that you've had 10 years total experience in this type of realm, and you did a lot of that with kind of a large company that a lot of people have heard of.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So I spent the majority of my career actually working for Delta Airlines.
Okay.
And I started in finance and worked in different departments throughout the organization, moving up and onward as my career progressed. And I just had an incredible opportunity to not only hone my business skills and what it meant to be a professional, in my opinion, but learn so much about an industry that's so complex, right? Yeah. I was working in finance and sales and revenue management in a company that not only flies planes, we fly cargo, we have customer service hubs, we have a huge marketing center. So I think I learned to love the holistic view of business.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Delta as well is very community focused. And I think during that time I realized I love local communities. My home state was Florida. I was born in Florida. I wanted to come back and give my expertise to the community that I call home. And so started my own company, Local Union, about a year ago now.
That's so cool. Yeah, I know that you went to USF.
I did.
Right?
Yes.
You studied international business and finance.
I did.
Right?
Yes.
Yep. And so, what made you do that? Let's start there. Like, what made you do that?
Okay.
That's not like the normal thing that someone's like, it's ever
I
like.
think I'd like to get into international business. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. Like.
I want to be international business.
Right,
Oh.
Yeah.
So I knew I didn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer growing up. I wanted to be at the head of a table making decisions. So business was what I wanted to do. I grew up in a town called Winter Haven, which is in Polk County.
Yep.
And while it's lovely, I was the type of kid that said, get me as far away as possible from home. And international business sounded very far away. So I had the opportunity. I actually got a full scholarship to USF and had the chance to choose basically my business major, and decided international business and then finance because it was the hardest for me. So I felt learning as much as I could about a more difficult subject was best for my long-term career.
Yeah. So I know, working with Delta, led to some other opportunities where you actually lived abroad a little bit.
I did.
Right?
So I spent 2.5 years living in Paris, France. And actually my assignment ended right when the COVID pandemic broke out. So I was in Paris, locked down in my apartment, couldn't leave except for 30 minutes a day, in the very strict confines of the original pandemic.
Holy cow.
Yes, but I went over on assignment. I was consulting with Air France and KLM. So our European airline partners who worked with Delta, and I was in charge of helping them renovate their sales development department. So if you think about an airline, right, you have normal leisure customers. So that's me, Maggie, going to a national park for a weekend, but you also have huge corporate customers. And so I was really helping them figure out, from a travel agency perspective and a corporate perspective, how can they grow their portfolio across the globe? An awesome experience. And I think really what made me take that final push to start my own business, because
yeah, I can see that.
You learn so much when you live abroad about work-life balance, about what's really important to you personally. I had the opportunity to go over with my husband, so we got to grow as a couple too while we were there. And I learned to really trust myself and have confidence in making decisions for a huge company like Air France and KLM. So it was awesome.
That's so awesome. So, whenever we talk to agents, we bring a bunch of guests in and kind of help the guest have conversations that are really going to benefit the agents. And one of the big conversations that always goes over really well is helping the agent understand that 80% of business is the same, right? There's that 20% that's different trade to trade. So what you do and how you're helping people, and I want to bring up something really specific with this. Your experience in understanding business and being helping large companies internationally brought you to the point where you did something with one of the guests that we had on, which was Donnie, right?
Yes.
And so you guys met, and your experience helped you help him as a podcast host, helped you, but it also helped the community that you were in. Can we talk a little bit about that? Can we go through that?
Yeah, sure. So you want to talk about the Business Makeover?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is my heartwarming story and passion. Like, this is what I get very jazzed about. So this might be a 5-hour podcast. I'm kidding. So, I had the idea, how do I give back? How do I also reach an audience that's very business focused? Because, right, I'm not looking for consumers. I'm looking for business owners in terms of my marketing exposure for my own business. And so I sent out a Facebook post, and it started with, who would be interested in doing some type of giveaway? This is how it started. Like, sometimes you see influencers who are like, we'll give away a free product if you follow us and 10 other people.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for consulting because, you can't just give away. Well, you can. We ended up doing that. So it sparked this idea of, how can we impact a business, and how can I partner with other awesome entrepreneurs like Donnie in the community to give away a business makeover. Right. I talk a lot about the show Queer Eye. Have either one of you watched Queer Eye?
I've never watched it, but I've heard of it.
Okay, it's an incredible show, and the premise is they just go and make over somebody's life, right? And you have 5 experts that come into your life. Like bar rescue, exactly. And so we wanted to be that for the small business world in Pinellas County. Mm-hmm. Small businesses had a rough going in 2020. And so I wanted to be able to give services that are very impactful for local businesses, like marketing, podcast exposure, like website design, like branding, photography, in a manner that would really impact a small business and boost them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we started the Business Makeover. It's called the Pinellas Business Makeover. And at least once a year, we're going to host applications. Mm-hmm. Small businesses can apply, and they will get a full business makeover from 5 incredible entrepreneurs, from business consulting and planning all the way through marketing and exposure, branding, photography.
So awesome.
Yes.
That's so killer.
That's so awesome. So helpful. And we love the place that it came from.
Yes.
Right? The place that it came from is, oh my God, look at what these small businesses are going through. How can we figure out a way of doing that? And then not only did you say, okay, me as a consultant, I'm going to come in and help you out, you actually rallied the troops.
Yeah.
Right? You said, hey, let's get a bunch of people together and do that. So from a real estate agent perspective, I mean, they can participate in something like that.
Absolutely.
Or they could create the same kind of thing somewhere along the line. Right?
Yeah.
They could do a makeover on a house, right? Do you have a house that's a dog, and get a stager and get a contractor and get whatever, and then be that superintendent like you are. That's such a good idea. And whenever Donnie told us about it, he mentioned it to me, but I saw it on the news, right? So I mean, we talked about that with Donnie. Tell us how, because it went bigger than just local, right? So tell us what happened with that. What happened?
We got picked up by ABC, by the local news channel, as well as local newspapers, and then online it was pretty viral for a while as well. So incredible. Interesting, the applicants were mainly North Pinellas County focused. So we didn't have as many in St. Pete, but I think that's where the word of mouth and the communities are really powerful. in the Tampa Bay area also learned about it. So hoping to expand, outside of just Pinellas at some point. But
right, and it was picked up by a Florida organization as well, right?
Yes. So the Florida Business Incubator is an incredible kind of startup facilitator, and they, as partnered with us, and actually chose the winner for us. So that was incredible.
Very cool.
And we're hoping as we expand, we find more partners like that who are willing to either bring in more experts, bring in funding, because a lot of the things we do require cost investment from businesses, right? If we're redoing your branding and you have products that need new labels, that's cost. And so we need to find more partners who can help us really ensure this makeover is as impactful as possible.
Right. So let's give some kudos. Who was the winner?
So the winner is Chelsea and Kaylin. They're an amazing couple who started a all-natural, toxic-free skincare company.
Okay.
And it's called Natural Awakening Essentials. They sell all their products online, so you can go check them out. They also are at a ton of local markets and will hopefully be opening a store soon.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
Very cool. Very exciting.
So let's dig a little bit into real estate, right? So real estate agents get hit up like with 984 calls a day of, hey, you want to buy leads? Hey, do you want to buy the CRM? They're always getting, Instagram has got their number and Facebook has their number when it comes to ads and all that kind of stuff. And right, that stuff is great. Okay, let's leave it at that. But that's not really where you dig in, right? When you're helping them out, because I know you help a bunch of real estate agents, right, in your practice, which we love because there's a ton of them that need that. Okay. What is it that whenever you kind of come in, what do you dig into? What do you help them kind of get started with? What do you need to, what's one of the first things that you're consistently seeing with a lot of agents that you're like, okay, hey, look, you really need to, okay, what is it that you're seeing?
One, I always approach, whether it's an agent or just a regular business, my conversations are, what is your end goal? Where do you want to be in 5, 10, 30 years, right? When you walk away from the business, do you want to be hosting a podcast? Do you want to have 40 houses with all of your amazing commission checks over? What is your end goal? Then how are you holistically planning your business to ensure you get there? Mm-hmm. So what does that look like? Sure, that could include something like Google advertising or buying leads, but in reality, there's much more basic fundamentals that I think a lot of agents don't focus on right away because it's so much distracts you in a business.
Yep.
4 fundamentals for agents in every business, in my opinion. 1, what's your business plan and financing look like, right? So are you looking at your metrics? Are you looking at your numbers? Are you ensuring that you're measuring yourself on a monthly basis to understand if you're successful? And if not, you have a roadmap that says, this is where I need to implement more. Right. So that fundamental business plan finances, huge. Very big. 2, customer experience. We get so distracted by marketing, by social media. Your job, though, is not to sell, it's to serve. Mm-hmm. And so I think as agents, you need to make sure your customer experience, right, your buyer experience, your seller experience, from the moment they hear about you to the moment they become your biggest fans is exceptional, right? And that's ensuring what you mentioned before, right? You are not only offering great lead services, you're offering great customer service, you're partnering with incredible people in the community because that also reflects on your brand. So I really work with agents to make sure they understand and map out what that customer journey looks like for their clients and where there could be pain points where you could be losing clients you don't even realize.
That's such a good point. And so a lot of times what agents will do is they'll learn scripts to close and they'll focus on that one piece of what they believe is the transaction. And the truth is, before you meet someone, you're actually starting the closing process with them.
Absolutely.
Your culture and what you're portraying and what you're getting in front of them, that's starting the process of whether or not you're going to be able to do business with them in the end. And so pushing through all of that and being consistent in that, which is exactly what you're talking about, the customer experience, that makes that closing that's supposed to happen so much easier because it's a more natural situation instead of having to have that perfect script at the perfect time and say the perfect thing so that you almost like trick the person into saying, yeah, I think I will do business with you, right? This understanding that the closing starts before that is all about the customer experience. That's such a fantastic point.
Yeah, and your job doesn't stop once closing happens, right? Correct. That's a huge piece. The customer journey has 5 stages. You have basically awareness. how do people find out about you? You have consideration. So how do they learn to trust you? What do they need answered before they use you as their agent? You have purchase, in this case would be closing. Right. And then you have retention, and the fifth one is advocacy. So, right, you close on a deal, your job is like halfway done, because now you have to ensure that you retain these people in your ecosystem and you bring them back. And it's sometimes more difficult for agents, right? If you own a retail shop and you sell shampoo, you need shampoo every 3 months, right? Or every month. So hopefully...
How often do you need shampoo, Matt?
I think we know the answer to that, Ben. I think I got a bar of soap that gets my head clean.
There we go. So if you sell a bar of soap, right, you need a bar of soap every single month. And that's an easy invite to your ecosystem.
Absolutely.
But if you're selling a home, that might only happen every decade or so. Right. So it's incredibly important that you're creating a brand and a strategy outside of that closing process that invites people back into you. Yep. Because I have, in my lifetime, have had 4 realtors. I've never once repeated a realtor, because what happened in between selling and buying my homes was I had time to meet new people. Yep. And I said, well, they're in my life a little bit more than my old realtor is, so I'm going to try out this new person. Yep. So, right, that retention strategy, so important.
It's who you're in flow with. I mean, who is it that you have that connection with? And absolutely, saying that the actual the consummation of the transaction, right? That closing and the person getting the house and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely, that's the middle of it. The acquisition cost, and I'm sure you go over this in the very beginning of reviewing their costs with them. It's so much more expensive to acquire a new person than it is to maintain the ones that you have.
Absolutely,
such a huge difference in the cost. And if people would focus on the 5 steps, Ben talks about the 5 steps: awareness and consideration, and all the time.
Yep.
And we practice it in what we do. So that's huge that you're going over agents. Again, that's business. It's not selling houses. Right? If you want to be an independent contractor, if you want to be an agent that's in your own business, you have to run it like a business. You can't just run it like it's a transaction every time. Yeah.
That's why I love working with agents, because they have so much passion, right? You listeners are willing to do what it takes to improve your life, the life of your clients. But I love it because a lot of agents don't have a business background. So it's fusing that business knowledge with what you're already really good at and passionate, and then you're unstoppable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We do talk about those, those 5 stages. I usually have 6 because I throw in like a step for gummy bears every now and then. A gummy bear break, as I call it. We were talking just a second ago about, the 4 things. Yes. So like, business plan, going over the finances, then the customer experience. Yes. I just want to make sure that if someone's listening, they're like,
no cliffhanger.
What are those other 2?
You have to reach out to me separately. I love it. Step 3, process improvement. So what are you doing today that can be improved to make sure you can handle more volume?
Yep.
Right? Automation, systems, etc. And then step 4 does not pertain to all agents, but if you want to be a broker in the future, if you want to have a team, you need to have a system for people, right? And that can also mean a system for yourself right now. So how does your boss rate you? How do you rate yourself compared to your peers? And, what are your long-term goals for hiring somebody? And so what Local Union does, what I do, we handle and tackle really these 4 areas of business. Yep. We ensure you have systems in place that work for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So a couple things before we close. Is who would you say is like that one person in your life that's like, gosh, I couldn't have done this without them?
My husband, Brent, absolutely. So he is the other half of Local Union, also awesome. The other half of my heart. But he's really even though I studied finance in school, I told you guys I did it because I hated it the most. Yep. Right. He loves it. So he's our numbers guy. He is the business plan guy. And he has been an incredible partner in the journey of starting our own business, which is, as most of you guys know, it's a wild ride sometimes. Yep. And, just kind of the heart of our company. So any of you who need financial metrics, scorecard help, he does amazing scorecards for our agents. So he actually helps them track on a monthly basis their results and create action plans based off of, awesome. What your monthly numbers look like.
So how does somebody get some information about that? What do they do if they're looking for that scorecard?
Yeah. So One is to reach out to me. Our website is local-union.com, and we have a connect page. You can also connect with us on Instagram at Local Union LLC. But what this looks like, it's a 3-month program that he likes to run with people. And so he spends a month building that dashboard, going through your data, making sure you understand how to implement this for the long term. And then he spends 2 months actually running through like a board of director scenario. Each month he'll review your data, your results, and kind of push you like he's your board of director. Like, hey, why aren't you hitting these numbers? What are you going to do about it? Right. It's a really cool program.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. So I can't close the podcast
ever
without talking about your podcast.
Oh, yes.
So we have listeners. We want to make sure that our listeners are listening to you as well.
Absolutely.
Tell us, is a Business Wind Down?
Yes.
WINE, if I'm not mistaken.
WINE, yes, where entrepreneur conversations meet happy hour.
Oh, nice.
So after your day, grab a drink and join us on the Business Wind Down. It's available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yep. So, Matt, anything else that you want? I don't really want you to talk, right? Because Maggie did such a good job.
I know she did. She crushed it. We knew she was gonna. We knew she was gonna. But I'm going to talk anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
A quick summary of a great way to look at this if the listeners are out there trying to figure out, what's the right thing for them to do. Do you look at it like you're a real estate person in business or a business person in real estate? Whatever growth you're trying to accomplish, you're going to need to adjust the way that you look at it. So if you're just a real estate person doing some business, that's great if you love that, but there's no scale to that, right? You're chasing transactions.
Absolutely.
Right? But if you're a business person in real estate, which is what I always was, and I love the business first, and real estate just happens to be the one that the type of business, the industry that I loved. If that's the way that you want to go, absolutely get in touch with Maggie. You can tell she knows exactly what she's doing, and she's going to crush it for you and help you out tremendously. So. Yep,
absolutely. So, guys, I will put all of her contact information in the description below. Make sure that you go and check it out. Find them on social media. Throw them a few likes, some follows, and some shares. Let's just make sure that we get the word out about all the amazing things that Local Union is doing.
Yep.
And Maggie, I'm so grateful that you came on the show today.
Thank you. I've had a great time.
Yeah, you did awesome.
I'm happy that you made it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Ben.
And I'm super excited to be here. So, guys, if you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside of it. You get notified every time we drop a new episode. If you want to listen and watch all these things all in the same place, go to brokersopenpodcast.com. Matt?
Yeah, man.
We talk business.
Right.
We help.
We discuss shampoo versus.
Yeah, we talk shampoo versus soap. Right. We as I say, you're either your house is like a dog or it's a dog house.
Right.
One or the other. And we bring on amazing guests just like Maggie Butler, and we do that for so many reasons. But really, it's because real estate is not necessarily just about open houses.
It's about open minds.